Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video, we're going to talk getting started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and we're going to talk Skaven and take a look at Clan Pestilens, one of the many different types of specific clans that there are in the Skaven army. Now in this video, we're going to talk through what makes a Clan Pestilens army special, what some of the cool rules are. We'll then take a look at units we can start our Clan Pestilens collection with, before moving on to units we can then expand upon those initial purchases to help us create our first 1000 point army list, which will show a sample army list at the end of the video for you to use as some inspiration for creating your own Clan Pestilens Skaven army. So with all of that said, what is a Clan Pestilens army? Now, they are a sub-faction of sorts of Skaven. Skaven are a little bit weird. They don't have sub-factions in the traditional way that most other armies do, which are their own special unique rules that you only get in that sub-faction. You get Clan Pestilens rules if you take Clan Pestilens models. Now, in this video, we're going to focus on a full Clan Pestilens army, but how it does work is for every Clan Pestilens hero in your army, you unlock one of either Plague Monks or Plague Sense Bearers, a single unit of either of those as a Battleline option. And this works the same for all the other clans as well. Now, the cool rule for Clan Pestilens is when you make a chanting roll for a friendly Clan Pestilens priest, most of them are priests, you can add one to the roll for each other friendly Clan Pestilens priest wholly within 13 inch of the initial chanter. In addition, if the roll for the prayer ever is a 6+, so this means all the bonuses stack up and you can get this with bonuses, then you can activate the Great Plague in addition to the effect of the chanted prayer. A Great Plague can only be activated once per game, any one of them, and you can only activate a Great Plague once per turn. So you can't activate the same one multiple times, but you can activate one every turn during the game. Now, there is a bunch of different things. Normally, there's one that you try and hit off straight away, which is rerolls to all your prayers, which makes getting the rest of the Great Plagues off. There's one that just flat out does like 2d6 mortal wounds. There's one that allows you to take control of an enemy hero. There's some other cool ones as well. A bunch of really unique and techie sort of abilities. Some really fun stuff in there for the Skaven. With that said, let's take a look at where to begin this army. And so, where to begin? Well, a Plague Priest is a great place to start. Now, this is your foot hero for the Clan Pestilens army. It's, of course, a priest, and it's got its own War Scrolls prayer called Pestilence, which is a nice sort of mortal wound area effect prayer. It also gets +1 attacks whenever it's charged, whenever it charges, which is pretty good, considering it does have like D3 attacks at 3s and 3s, Ren 1 damage 1, another 2 attacks at 4s and 3s, Ren 1 damage 1, so it can actually go into, you know, other wizards or little chaff units and probably do a decent amount of damage. It also subtracts 1 from all wound rolls for attacks in melee that target it, which is just a really good defense mechanism for a unit. Now, alongside that model, Plague Monks are definitely the way to go. These are your cheap Battleline unit that he can unlock. Now, they're 1 wound each on a 6-up save, and you've got a couple of different weapon options, either the pair of Photed Blades or the Photed Blade and Woe Stave. If you're going for a larger unit, the Woe Staves generally will allow you to get more models in and definitely increase that range, or you can also get the pair of Photed Blades in there as well. Now, the Woe Staves have that 2-inch reach, and the pair of Photed Blades have that 3. Remembering, you will straight away get a 3-inch reach if you've got 20 models in your unit with that pair of Photed Blades. Meanwhile, you only get a 2-inch reach and potentially can lose it if you go with the pair of Photed Blades. So definitely if you're building to bigger units of Plague Monks, you want those Woe Staves instead. Both of them are damage 1, and both of them have the same ability, Photed Weapons, where if they roll a 6 to hit, they are resolved at rend -2 instead of dash. And you've also got the Frenzy Exalt, so you get +1 attack whenever the unit charges. Your champion can do a little bit of mortal wound damage from range with his Book of Woes. The Musician allows you to re-roll ones and add 1 to your run and charge rolls. And your Standard Bearer is really nice, allowing you to pretty much do some damage potentially when you die. Looking at other units to bring into, and we got the Plague Priest on Plague Furnace. Now, this is the same sort of Plague Priest, so he's got very similar stuff on him. Same War Scroll prayer, same abilities to be -1 to wound, and all of that. It also has a 5-up ward and makes Skaven units around it whole within 13 immune to Battle Shock. On top of this, it's got its Great Plague Sensor, which on a 2-up, when it's undamaged, can just do a flat-out 7 mortal wounds. It's got some extra attacks in there, and it's 15 wounds on a 4-up save. It's pretty much just a really super survivable priest for you to have. It does require Skaven units being nearby to push it into battle. If it hasn't got at least 10 Skaven models within 6 inch of it at the start of the turn, it can't actually move. Now, we then have Plague Sensor Bearers. These guys are amazing. 3 attacks based on 3s and 3s, Ren 1, damage 2. You subtract 1 from wound rolls if you're ever fighting them in melee, and they add 1 to their attacks if they charge, so 4 attacks when they charge each. They've got 2 wounds on a 6-up save, which is pretty solid, and then they've also got their Plague Disciples rule, where if they're wholly within 18 inch of any friendly Plague Monks unit, they get +1 to wound. So you can easily get these models down to 2s and 2s with 4 attacks, rend 1, damage 2. Quite an efficient killing unit. The Verminlord Corruptor is up next. It's a Verminlord that is specialised for Clan Pestilence. He's got some really cool stuff going for him. The big thing for me, especially in the current edition where we're going to see more hordes, Dreaded Plague, roll a dice for every model in the target unit that he targets, and on 4+, the unit suffers a mortal wound. Great at dealing with large hordes. His Plague Reapers allow him to do some mortal wounds if he gets them. Hitting with them, in addition to any other damage, he has a built-in 5-up ward, and he can also do mortal wounds at the end of combat to nearby enemy units. 13 wounds, 4-up save, a 2-cast and Unbind Wizard, though he doesn't have access to any Skaven spell laws and has to use generic spells for him. Lastly, we have the Plague Claw. This is a ranged unit for Clan Pestilence. It's got 1 attack hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s, rend 2, damage d6. If it ever targets a unit with 10 or more models, add 1 to the hit roll, and increase the damage to 2d6 instead of 1. So it's really good, again, at taking out hordes. You add 2 to Battleship Test for units targeted by friendly units with this ability, so you're instantly just making your opponent have to take negative battle shocks just by targeting a unit. And 6 wounds, 5-up save. It's not that awfully survivable, but it does have a nice 30-inch range to provide some shooting support while your army of crazed Plague Monks makes its way up the table. And so here we have our sample army list for the Skaven of Clan Pestilens. Now, we've gone the grand strategy, no place for the weak. This means there'll be no Battleline units alive in our opponent's army. We've then got a Triumph for Inspired, +1 wound can be really good on some of the Clan Pestilens units, where it's normally where we struggle with. We've then got a Plague Priest on Plague Furnace as our general with Master of Rot and Ruin as his command trait. This just gives him +1 to all chanting. And then we've got the Prayer Rabid for +1 attack. We then have our Plague Priest carrying our artifact, which is going to be Blistervis, the Living Cyst. Now, this is a really interesting artifact because you can only put it on a Clan Pestilence hero. The Fight First effect applies to the bearer if it made a charge move in the same turn. However, starting from the second battle round, at the start of the hero phase, you must transfer this artifact to another Clan Pestilence hero on the battlefield if it is possible to do so. So, it's always best to not start this on the hero that you want to get it on. So you would start it on the Plague Priest on foot and then flip it over to your Plague Furnace, hopefully turn 2, getting the charge off with that model. Now, your Plague Priest is also going to have a prayer called Filth, which is another +1 to wound, meaning with that and Inspire, we've got 2 +1 to wounds in there. Battleline wise, we've got 2 units of Plague Monks, 1 of 20 with Woe Staves and 1 of 10 with Foetid Blades. They're both going to be in the Expert Conquerors Battalion, which is going to make each one of them count as 3 models on objectives. They're going to be our big Battleline units. Now, we've then got another unit of 10 Plague Monks with Foetid Blades and 10 Plague Sensor Bearers in here as well, and they're going to be our Bounty Hunter Battalion units. They're going to get +1 damage against our opponent's Givelation Veterans, which is just going to be really nice. Plague Sensor Bearers with that are an absolute glass cannon, but they can hit like nothing else. They are amazingly good. 975 points out of 1,000 is a pretty solid, means there's a good chance we are going to get that Triumph. 2 out of 2 reinforced units, 80 wounds on the table is pretty solid, and 6 drops is fairly low in this new sort of meta. With that said, if you're playing with Clan Pestilence, let us know how you've been going and what you plan to do with your Clan Pestilence army down in the comments below. And so, that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And drop us a comment down below letting us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to come help support the channel in another way, you can do so either by joining our Patreon or YouTube members, or grabbing some channel merch off our merch store on Teespring, which is on our YouTube store as well. You can also come chat with me and other members of our little community here and our Discord server, which is linked down in the video's description, along with the Patreon and YouTube members links. And as a special shout out to all those Patreons and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons, Christian Weir, James, Soren, Greenskins Gaming, AJC, Kenny Lowell, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, Anton Nilsson, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Derek, and Giapi390. And a special thank you to our YouTube members, Greenroost Gaming, Kenton Young, Chris Wallace, Ronya, Locke Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Revenar, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Sean Scott, Pink Nico Fire, and Robin Mankiller as well. Lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for the channel, and to everyone who comes on the channel and helps us create everything we do. Thank you all for watching once again, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.